Welcome to this 2.0 module on situational awareness. The objective of this training is to further provide school employees with important knowledge and understanding of the need to be cognizant and familiar with the term situational awareness and know how to apply the actionable skills of observation, awareness, and response to improve the overall safety and security of an educational environment. Every school day, many small decisions shape the safety of our students, staff, and visitors. By viewing this module, you will gain an understanding of how to recognize when something in your environment doesn't seem quite right, or know what to do about it. The training will last 30 minutes and has been approved by the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency to meet the required standards for school employee training under Act 55 of 2022. This module will consist of 3 parts: observation, awareness, and response. Many safety incidents are prevented by school staff like you because something was noticed to be not quite right: a propped door, an unfamiliar person on the grounds, or a student showing signs of distress. At the conclusion of this module, you will be able to observe your surroundings with an understanding of what to look for. Be aware of environmental and behavioral cues that signal possible concern and respond confidently within your school entity's safety framework.
We begin our exploration of situational awareness with observation. Observation is about learning to gain an understanding of your surroundings by paying close attention to what is normal and what is not. Every hallway, classroom, and common area in your school has its own rhythm with familiar sounds, sights, and routines that make it feel comfortable and safe. When we train ourselves to be curious about that environment, we start to notice small changes that can make a big difference. It could be a door that's open when it shouldn't be, an unfamiliar person in a restricted area, or a sound that doesn't belong. Observation is the first link in the chain of safety. It's how we begin to recognize potential issues early and contribute to a secure learning space for everyone.
Situational awareness goes beyond sight. It's about tuning into your full environment. What do you hear that doesn't belong? It could be a loud bang, a whispered conversation, or silence where it's normally busy. What do you smell that seems unusual? Is there a smell of smoke or gas? What do you feel? It could be an unfamiliar vibration, a draft, or simply that something's off. When we train ourselves to notice through multiple senses, we sharpen our ability to recognize change, which is the foundation of staying safe.
Observation is more than just seeing what is in our environment. It means paying close attention to the small details, behaviors, and patterns that make up our daily surroundings so we can reach reasonable conclusions about what's normal and what might be out of place. In a school environment, observation is how we get a feel for what's happening around us. It is being intentional when interacting with our environment. People take in information through our primary senses, sight, sound, touch, and smell, to build a complete picture of our environment. School employees have a unique understanding of the flow of their buildings. Every hallway, classroom, and common area has its own rhythm and routine. When something interrupts that rhythm, a sound that doesn't belong, a door that shouldn't be open, a smell that feels out of place, our senses help us recognize it. Let's put this into practice. In this classic picture appearing on your screen, focus on what you observe first. Does anything else come into focus as you continue to look? Did you see a young woman or did you see an older one? Did you see both? Regardless of if you saw the young woman or the older woman first, the image itself never moved. However, your perspective may have. This example shows how our brain interprets information through a single sense and how that interpretation can shift. However, observation becomes more powerful when not limited to sight alone. If you were able to utilize your other senses, it could have provided additional layers of information that would have given you a broader perspective. Observation becomes far more powerful when it's not limited to sight alone. Each sense provides another layer of information, helping you notice subtle changes in your environment before they become safety concerns. In a school setting, that extra layer of awareness could mean recognizing a maintenance issue before it becomes a hazard, or identifying unusual behavior before it turns into a real threat.
Let's apply this information to what you may encounter in the school setting. As the following scenarios come onto the screen, take a moment to think if you know what to do or know your school's policy or procedure for these types of situations. You see an unidentified person walking in the building or hanging out in the playground area. You see a vehicle parked in an unusual area with its engine running. You see a door that is propped open. As you were thinking about each scenario, did you ask yourself, is this normal for the time and place? Do I know who I should notify? Has this been covered in my building's safety training or emergency plan? These are exactly the kinds of questions that move us from simply noticing to taking responsible action. Observation doesn't end when you see something unusual. It continues until you communicate what you've noticed to the right person or reporting system. Do you know if your school's plan requires you to alert the front office about a door that won't close properly, or to tell your administrator when you see someone in the parking lot who doesn't appear to belong there? If you don't know the answer to these questions, you can ask your direct supervisor to give you guidance. Each of the small actions that you take contributes to the larger safety network that protects your school. By staying curious, trusting your instincts, and following established reporting steps, you help ensure that observation leads to awareness, and that awareness leads to meaningful response.
The foundation of situational awareness. Observation means using all your senses to notice what's happening around you and recognizing when something doesn't fit. Awareness is interpreting those observations, understanding what they mean, and deciding if action is needed. Response is putting that understanding into motion, taking steps that align with your school's safety procedures.
In the previous section, you focused on observation, using your senses to notice what's happening around you. In this section, we'll take that one step further. Awareness means analyzing what you've observed and asking, what does this information tell me? In a school setting, awareness is what helps you connect the dots. It's how you recognize patterns, identify changes in behavior or routine, and detect subtle signs that something might not be right. For school employees like you, being aware means being alert, informed, and ready to respond appropriately. Before we begin exploring how awareness works in everyday school life, answer the following question to see how familiar you are with different ways critical information can reach you. Awareness builds on observation. Where observation gathers information, awareness interprets it. Awareness is the deliberate choice to be attentive. Being aware is to recognize the meaning behind what we see, hear, or sense. It's an active state of mind that connects small details into a bigger picture. In schools, awareness means paying attention to environmental cues, like changes in noise levels, lighting, or student behavior, and trusting the instinct that tells you something about this feels off. Those physical cues, sometimes called gut reactions or spidey senses, are not imagination. They are your body processing subtle signals before your conscious mind does. When we slow down and acknowledge those signals, we give ourselves time to respond thoughtfully instead of reactively.
What do you notice in this scene? The student is sitting alone in the hallway, head down, body turned inward. This powerful image communicates more than words ever could. As a school employee, your awareness goes beyond seeing an upset student. It involves asking yourself, what am I really observing here? Does this student seem isolated, anxious, or possibly in distress? Have I seen this behavior before, or is it new? Maybe you've encountered a moment like this before. Did you stop to check in on the student, or did you keep walking? Awareness means recognizing when a familiar setting doesn't feel quite right, when a student's behavior, posture, or emotion signals that they may need help. Your awareness can be the first step in connecting that student to support, whether it's a counselor, administrator, or trusted adult.
Imagine you're at the front desk or passing through the main office, or anywhere in your building, when you notice someone waiting to speak with an employee. This visitor has no visible badge. They may or may not have an appointment, and they may not be a familiar face. What do you become aware of in this moment? Do you recognize the visitor? Are they following your school's check-in procedures? Or do they enter through an unsecured door? Is the staff member on duty aware of whether this person has checked in? Awareness means pausing to read the full situation, not just with your eyes, but with all your senses. Listen to the tone of the visitor's voice. Notice their body language. Are they calm, anxious, impatient, or agitated? Observe their posture and movement. Are they leaning in? Even subtle cues like changes in volume, breathing, or personal space can signal that something is wrong. These sensory details give context to what you see and help you make informed, professional decisions. Your school's visitor management and access control procedures are designed to keep everyone safe, but they depend on staff who stay aware, notice small inconsistencies, and act when something feels off. One decision to verify identification, politely redirect someone to the sign-in process, or alert an administrator can prevent a potential security disruption.
Let's apply awareness to the spaces where you work each day. Look at this multi-purpose space layout. In which blocks are you aware of exits? If you answered all three, you're right. There is an exit route in each block. True awareness means knowing every way out, not just the one you use most often. In an emergency, having knowledge of your surroundings can save precious seconds that can save lives. Let's now focus on these different examples of classroom doors. Which door looks most vulnerable? The bottom right image shows a door with clear sightlines from the hallway. This door provides less concealment and is more vulnerable to a safety risk. Awareness means noticing those small design details before they matter and bringing concerns to your administrator or safety team. Awareness also applies to behavior. When you are aware of your surroundings, you begin to notice small, subtle things that impact school safety. A student pacing in the hallway, a colleague unusually quiet, or a visitor lingering too long near an exit. Each alone may be harmless, but together they tell a story. Your awareness helps you connect those dots and share concerns through your school's reporting process. In every situation, awareness turns observation into understanding. It helps you anticipate what might happen next, follow your training, and contribute to a safer, more secure learning environment.
Situational awareness in a school setting brings all these elements together. It means understanding your surroundings, actively using observation skills, and recognizing how your observations connect to your school's safety procedures. Situational awareness is a foundational principle of keeping schools secure. Knowing what's happening around you, identifying what doesn't fit, and understanding your role in responding appropriately.
Through the first two parts of this module, you have practiced observation, noticing details through all your senses, and awareness, analyzing what those details mean in context. Now we are moving to the third and most critical step, response. Response is where knowledge becomes action. It's the ability to take what you've seen, heard, smelled, or sensed and decide what to do next in a calm, purposeful way. In a school setting, response might mean triggering parts of your emergency operations or preparedness plan, such as following a lockdown procedure, making a report to your administrator, or simply offering support to a student in distress. Every decision we make in those moments contributes to the overall safety and security of our school community. Response is the bridge between what we notice and what we do about it. It's the point where awareness becomes action. Your response to what is around you is a deliberate, informed choice that helps protect yourself and others. Response is not about reacting impulsively. It's about pausing just long enough to assess the situation and apply what you know. In a school setting, this means relying on your training, your school's emergency plan, and your professional judgment. In safety situations, small choices can have big consequences. The tone of your voice when giving directions, the clarity of your words on a radio or phone call, or the decision to lock a door instead of waiting to decide reflects intentional, informed action. It is important that every school employee be prepared to respond appropriately when something doesn't feel right. You don't have to be an administrator or a law enforcement officer to make a difference. You just have to know your role, remain calm, and take the next right step. In stressful moments, our minds can narrow and our focus can start to get away from us. That's natural. Training helps counteract that by teaching us to act with purpose, not panic. Taking a deep breath, recalling your school's procedures, and following your established chain of command are all part of an effective response.
Let's look at how response takes shape in everyday situations. Scenario 1, bullying concern. You overhear a student in the hallway voicing concerns about being bullied during lunch break. What's your next step? Do you keep walking or do you check in? An appropriate response might mean stopping to ask if they're okay, documenting what you heard, and notifying a counselor or administrator. That quick action turns awareness into intervention.
Scenario 2, disturbing notebook found in the library. While cleaning, you find a notebook with violent drawings and concerning messages. What should you do? Your response should be purposeful and immediate. You should not ignore it or handle it casually. Secure the item, avoid confrontation, and immediately report it to your building administrator or threat assessment team. By following your school's protocols, you've initiated a proactive response that could prevent harm.
Scenario 3, change in behavior. A student who you have known to be happy and easily engaged is now withdrawn, avoiding eye contact, or showing signs of distress. What should you do? You should respond to this student in some way. You may or may not feel comfortable asking questions or talking with the student. However, you can share your observation with a teacher, counselor, administrator, or other person in your building who can follow up regarding the student's behavior and address concerns. Your simple choice to express care or share your observation with a counselor or other person in your building can connect that student to vital support.
Scenario 4, unfamiliar person at the door. You see someone attempting to forcibly enter a locked exterior door. You don't have to intervene or investigate directly. You respond by following the proper procedure put in place at your school. Document what you see, and some options that you can take are to notify the office or security personnel, initiate the lockdown process, If necessary, call 911. The best response that you can take is to prioritize personal safety practices and then communicate and coordinate with others in this situation.
In each scenario, response is based upon informed action. Your responses are drawn from observation, awareness, and training to make the best possible decision in the moment. Response also means taking care of yourself afterward, debriefing, reporting, and resetting so you're ready for any future situation that arises, whether big or small. Whether it's a safety concern, a behavioral change, or an emergency event, your response helps sustain the protective culture that keeps schools safe. We hope you found this training useful and practical. Throughout this module, you've explored 3 interconnected skills: observation, awareness, and response that form the foundation of situational awareness. Observation taught you to use all your senses to notice what's happening in your environment. Sights, sounds, smells, and feelings that help you detect when something doesn't seem right. Awareness helped you give meaning to those observations, analyzing details, reading behavior and posture, and trusting your instincts to recognize patterns or potential risks. Response brought it all together, knowing how to act deliberately and effectively using your training, your school's emergency plan, and your professional judgment.
But situational awareness doesn't end with this training. It's something you practice every day, both in the school environment and in your personal life. Each observation and every decision contribute to a safer, more secure learning environment. Before you finish this module, take a moment to think about your own next steps. Do you know who to contact if you see a potential safety concern? Are you familiar with your school's reporting procedures and emergency plans? Remember, awareness is a shared responsibility. By staying alert, informed, and proactive, you help ensure that your school remains a safe place to learn, teach, and grow. Thank you for your attention to this e-learning module, for your commitment to your school community, and for taking an active role in safety through situational awareness. Additional information on reporting concerns can be found at the Safe to Say Something and the Department of Homeland Security's If You See Something, Say Something websites. Links can be found in the Resources tab on the PCCD SSSTP training website.